At 94, Barbara Eden finally tells the truth about Elvis Presley, and the revelation has left fans both stunned and deeply fascinated, because while she has always been known as the sparkling star of I Dream of Jeannie, adored for her timeless charm and beauty, what many never knew was the special connection she shared with the king of rock and roll during the golden years of Hollywood. And now, with age granting her a certain freedom to speak openly, Barbara has broken her silence, admitting that Elvis was far more complex than the world ever realized. A man of contradictions who struggled under the crushing weight of fame, even as he captivated millions with his voice and presence, and Barbara recalls their encounters with a mixture of fondness and sadness, describing Elvis not just as the magnetic superstar adored by screaming fans, but as a gentle, vulnerable soul who longed for normalcy, yet could never quite escape the prison of his own legend. And while tabloids often painted Elvis as reckless, Barbara insists he was a deeply thoughtful man in private, capable of incredible kindness, humility, and even insecurity, traits that surprised her given his colossal status. Yet she also confesses that their friendship carried its share of darkness, because Elvis was surrounded by enablers, people who lived off his fame and never told him the truth about the destructive habits consuming his life. And Barbara admits that it broke her heart to see how the pressures of celebrity and the weight of being Elvis Presley left him isolated, turning to pills and distractions to cope with the crushing expectations. And though she makes it clear they were never romantically involved, she reveals that she cared for him deeply as a friend and even tried to encourage him to take better care of himself. But Elvis, caught in the whirlwind of superstardom, could never fully break free from the machine that demanded his every performance, his every smile, his very soul. And looking back now, Barbara confesses that the hardest truth to accept is that Elvis's downfall was not inevitable, but a result of the world demanding too much from a single man, and her voice carries both admiration and regret as she describes him as one of the most extraordinary individuals she had ever known, a man who, despite his flaws, gave more of himself to his fans than most people could ever imagine. And for Barbara, telling this truth at 94 is both cathartic and bittersweet, because while the world will always remember Elvis as the king, she remembers him as a friend, a man who laughed, who dreamed, who struggled, and who ultimately paid the price for being larger than life. And in sharing her truth now, she hopes people will not only remember the legend, but also understand the fragile human being behind the icon, the Elvis Presley who longed for peace, for simplicity, for love that wasn't defined by fame. And so at 94, Barbara Eden's confession is not a scandal or a shocking tell-all, but a heartfelt tribute, one that lifts the veil on the myth and reveals the man beneath, ensuring that Elvis is remembered not just for the music that shook the world, but for the vulnerable heart that beat within him until the very end.